Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Amiti Mama Arif.
My name is Nuradiba binti Zul.
My name is Rohaida Najah binti Abdurrahman.
My name is Nurain Asfarina binti Israzali.
My name is Nur Izzati binti Ghazali.
And today, my friends and I are going to present to you about financial statement and ratio analysis of FGV Holdings Berhad and Sam Darby. Okay, first let's take a look at Sam Darby background. Sam Darby is a Malaysian-based diversified multinational company that involved in key growth sectors such as plantations, property, motors, industrial equipment, energy and utilities, and healthcare. Sam Darby is one of the largest company on Bursa Saham with a market capitalization as at 31st January of 2012 of 54.9 billion ringgit. They has workforce over 100,000 employees in over 20 countries. Okay, next let's move to FGV Holdings Berhad background. FGV Holdings is a Malaysia-based agribusiness and its core business including plantation, sugar and logistics. It is initially incorporated as a commercial arm of Federal Land Development Authority, well known as FLDA, in 2007 to oversee investment in the upstream and downstream palm oil business as well as other agribusiness. FGV is supported by a strong workforce of more than 45,000 workers around the world. That's all from me, thank you, and I will pass this presentation to my friend and they will tell you about the ratio analysis of these companies.
I will explain about liquidity ratio.
Current ratio. Current ratio measures a company's ability to pay short-term obligations or its due within 1 year. In theory, the higher current ratio, the more capable a company pays its due because it has a larger proportion of current asset value relative to the value of current liabilities. Current ratio for Sam Darby shows increment from 1.54 in 2018 to 1.57 in 2019. Meanwhile, current ratio for FGV Holdings decreased from 1.03 in 2018 to 1.0 in 2019. In 2019, every 1 ringgit of current debt, Sam Darby had RM 1 ringgit 57 cent. Likewise, FGV only had 1 ringgit in current asset for each ringgit of current debt. Conclusion, Sam Darby had more capability to pay its obligations because it has a larger proportion of short-term asset value relative to the value of short-term liability. Next is quick ratio. Quick ratio measures a company's ability to meet its short-term obligations with its most liquid assets. A result of 1 is considered to be the normal quick ratio as it indicates that the company is fully equipped with exactly enough assets to be instantly liquidated to pay off its current liabilities. The formula for quick ratio is current asset minus inventory minus prepayments divided by current liabilities. Sam Darby recorded a lower quick ratio than FGV Holdings in 2019. Quick ratio of FGV Holdings shows an increment from 0.63 in 2018 to 0.73 in 2019. Meanwhile, Sam Darby's quick ratio decreased from 0.69 in 2018 to 0.62 in 2019. Even though FGV Holdings had a higher quick ratio than Sam Darby, it appears to be in a decent position to cover its current liabilities, though its liquid assets are not quite able to meet each ringgit of short-term obligations.
Next, profitability ratio.
Gross profit margin, used to assess a company's financial health and business model by revealing the amount of money left over from sale after deducting cost of goods sold. Gross profit tells how a good company is at creating a product or providing a service compared to its competitors. The formula for gross profit margin is gross profit divided by sales multiplied with 100. FGV Holdings Berhad had a higher gross profit margin than Sam Darby. Gross profit margin for Sam Darby increased decreased from 7.18% in 2018 to 7.76% in 2019. This is caused by the increment of sales and gross profit. Meanwhile, gross profit for FGV Holdings Berhad decreased from 10.60% in 2019 to 9.12% in 2019. This is because sales and gross profit decreased. Conclusion, FGV Holdings Berhad is better because it has a higher of gross profit margin than Sandarbi. A high gross profit margin means that FGV Holdings did well in managing its cost of sales. Next is net profit margin. Indicates how much net income a company makes with total sales achieved. A higher net profit margin means that a company is more efficient at converting sales into actual profit. The formula for net profit margin is net profit divided by sales multiplied with 100. Sandarbi had a higher net profit margin rather than FGV Holdings. Net profit margin for Sandarbi shows reduction from 5.82% in 2018 to 2.62% in 2019. Meanwhile, net profit margin for FGV Holdings shows an increment from negative 8.49% in 2018 to negative 2.8% in 2019. In 2019, for every 1 ringgit of revenue, Sandarbi earned 2 ringgit 62 sen of net profit. In conclusion, Sandarbi is able to convince the investor that they can pay higher dividends to them, while to creditors, Sandarbi able to pay back its loan.
Now, I will explain about efficiency ratio. First, inventory turnover ratio. Inventory turnover is the number of time a company sells and replaces its stock of goods during a period. It provides insights how the company manage costs and how effective their sales effort have been. The higher turnover typically means a company is selling goods very quickly. The formula for inventory turnover ratio is cost of sale divided by average inventory. Sandarbi has replaced or purchased new stock 4.39 times 2018 to 4.24 times 2019 in the accounting period. Meanwhile, FGV Holding Berhad has replaced or purchased new stock 5.86 times 2018 to 9.18 times 2019 in accounting period. The conclusion is FGV Holding Berhad moved inventory much faster than Sandarbi. This is because the higher the inventory turnover figure, the better it is for the business. Next, fixed asset turnover ratio. It measures a company's ability to generate net sales from its fixed asset investment, namely property, plants, and equipment. It reveals how efficient a company is at generating sales from its existing fixed asset. A higher ratio implies that management is using its fixed asset more effectively. The formula for fixed asset turnover is credit sale divided by total fixed asset. In 2018, fixed asset turnover for Sandarbi has increased from 3.25 times to 3.49 times in 2019 in sales for every RM1 invested in fixed asset. Meanwhile, FGV Holdings Berhad generated 0.98 times for 2018 to 1.03 times for 2019 in sale for every RM1 invested in fixed asset, which is lower than Sandarbi. The conclusion, Sandarbi is much better than FGV Holdings Berhad because the higher the fixed asset turnover ratio, the more effective the company investment in fixed asset have become. Now we move to capital structure. Return on investment, also known as return on capital employed, a financial ratio that measures a company's profitability and the efficiency with which its capital is used. In other words, the ratio measures how well a company is generating profit from its capital. The return on investment ratio is an important profitability ratio and it's used often by investors. The formula for return on investment is net profit divided by capital employed times 100. Sandarbi had a higher return on investment ratio rather than FGV Holding Berhad. Return on investment for Sandarbi shows increment from 6.79% in 2018 to 8.10% in 2018. Meanwhile, return on investment for FGV Holding Berhad is lower than Sandarbi, which is negative 8.39% in 2018 and negative 2.88% in 2019. Sam Darby is more better than FGV Holding Berhad because the higher the return on investment ratio, the more efficiently the company is using its asset base to generate sales.
Next, success factors and risks. Success factor of Sam Darby. The first one is manufactured. Sam Darby manufactured capital consists of facilities and infrastructure. They design their showroom to be the best in class compared to their competitors. The second one is intellectual. For their products, systems, and business platforms, it is an internally developed systems and provided by leading principals. Their intellectual consists of highly experienced management team with professionalism and high integrity. For its social relationship, they focus on building a long-term relationship among customers, employees, investors, communities, and governments. Other success factors of Sam Darby are human and natural. Let's move to success factor of FGV Holding. The first one is manufactured. FGV Holding's manufactured capital consists of their properties, mills and refineries, and other equipment which are the key of their business operations. Next, human capital of FGV Holdings is made up of the employee who work for FGV to help the organization to achieve their business objectives. FGV social and relationship capital comprises their relationship with communities, regulators, and other stakeholders. Other success factors of FGV are financial, intellectual, and natural. Next, I will explain about organization's risk. The first one is safety and health. Major accidents due to non-compliance to policies and procedures may lead to death and severe injury. The second one is climate change. The impacts from climate change, such as rainfall, water scarcity, and drought may adversely impact operations. Sam Darby and FGV also have a high risk of deforestation for any future expansion. The other risk is local community grievances.
I will present the future performance and the next thing organization should do.
Okay, first I will explain future performance. During this pandemic, the whole country experiences low economic growth. But in the next 2 or 3 years, we believe that the company will find their way to grow the business and attract customers. This prediction will happen if Sam Darby and FGV Holding Berhad are able to setting back their business strategy. So we believe that profit for both companies will reach more and will continue increase to upcoming year. Because of COVID-19, Sam Darby and FGV Holding Berhad should implement several preventive across operation to ensure well-being of their employees. So both companies can gain trust from their consumer aside increasing their sale. Second, use technology for operation. Sam Darby and FGV Holding Berhad should use information technology to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and limiting access to their operation. For example, sales application can increasing the sale with the adoption through the chatbox. They can keep the loyalty of consumer because information technology is a powerful way to transforming sales.
So, that's all from us. Thank you.